So lately, I feel like I haven't been exactly myself. I've been giving a lot of time away to people, especially since it was my last week in Tokyo for a bit. Now I'm in Kyoto, and I'm having basically what I call a mental reset, or just resetting myself basically. There's no fancy term for it, really. Ooh, this beetle is kind of scary. Okay. But I'm resetting my mind thanks to the transition, and I really feel like oddly, my brain is like, oh, the night bus kind of helps with that because like you don't get as much sleep and you're a little tired. So then you have to like sleep during the day. And then when you get up, you're kind of like, what the heck is going on? And it's like the perfect reset in some ways. I think this is kind of nice, actually, right here, this shot. So resetting things mentally, if you go on a night bus, it might help you, but obviously I feel like most people are not going to do that. But I feel like it helped me a lot because when I got up from the nap yesterday, I was just thinking about everything again. And I finally caught up with my journal as well. That I've been like really behind with my journal. So like just going through each day, adding a photo and writing about what I did and remembering everything. It really helps with like just getting that reset. It sort of feels like an earned reset because, well, I finally reflected on what I did on each day and what I did with my time, how I spent it, remembering the nice moments with my friends, the friends that I made, and yeah, it felt earned. It felt like, okay, now it's time to think about what the next step is, what the future looks like. And I just wanted to talk about that in this video, like how lately I've been out of it and I haven't been doing as much recordings as well because just hanging out with friends, I just don't record, which is something I have tried to change over time, but it gets hard because I'm just like so focused on hanging out with my friend and just talking with my friend. And sometimes my friends are not really into these kind of things. That's like one thing I kind of realized was maybe something I overlooked completely actually is that people are not always like comfortable on camera all the time. Some people say like, yeah, it's totally fine if they are captured in camera, but they're not gonna like be here talking to the camera with me. So I guess I want to talk about my one of my goals in Tokyo, and I mentioned how I accomplished it in a different video. It's basically to meet a creative person or creative people in Tokyo and sort of like become friends with them, so I can expand my circle of friends to be like creative people so I can work with them in random things. I think I just said that, sorry. I'm like distracted by this place. I actually came here to record things for my YouTube challenge last time, and this is like the Sakura no Mori. And for the recording last month, there were no sakura, so now I'm here with sakura, and I am enjoying it. I think it definitely looks more beautiful with the sakura. Yeah, let's get up there. Let's get up there. So we're gonna go back around. And what was I saying earlier? Yeah, so I met creative people for sure, and it's kind of hard to socialize with so many people and make friends and everything, but everyone's generally pretty nice and open to it. You just sort of have to like really put in the effort because a lot of people are generally just busy with their own lives. And luckily, at least one of them that I met became a really close friend, and I think she sort of helped me meet that goal of like, okay, she also does art and she's a photographer and stuff. So I'm like, awesome. Now I have a friend that likes doing those things, and I can ask them to like work with me for certain things in the future once I'm back in Tokyo. So I'm like, okay, that's awesome. That's great. I accomplished the goal. But I also realized she's kind of camera shy. Like she prefers being behind the camera and everything. So one of my statements I made in a previous video was like, oh, I'd love it if someone else were like next to me on the camera, like walking with me and talking and everything. And I'm like, wait a second. Even though I accomplished my goal, I still don't have that because not everyone likes being in front of the camera. I also met other creative people who like basically felt the same way. They're like, they prefer being behind the camera instead of in front of it. And yeah, it's just sort of like a realization that, not everyone, even if they are creative, has the same like skill sets or preferences in terms of how they create and what their role is in the part of the creation. So I guess for me, I was just like being very specific about like wanting someone who is able to be on camera with me. Like it's less so like, I mean, it would be great if they were a creative person and likes doing these things and have their own ideas and can brainstorm with me and all that stuff. But just having an extra person would be cool. Like I really enjoyed doing podcast stuff with my friends back then. And I feel like when I get to talk with someone else, it makes a completely different experience than just me talking to a camera. Although I've gotten very used to talking to the camera while not looking at it because I'm always looking at where I'm going. But this road is nice. It's like green. Oh man, I love this place. I'm glad there aren't too many people here actually. I expected way more people, but this is nice. Anyways, so when I met that goal and when I sort of finished it, I guess, I sort of like realized that what I want is not going to happen based on a short period of time. Like I need to really be in Tokyo a lot longer to form those like strong, true connections. So that's something that I'm not going to worry about as of this point until I'm actually back there. It was a fun goal to have, and I'm glad like it pushed me to actually go out and meet a lot of people. Otherwise, I don't know if I would have done that if I didn't have that goal. But now I'm sort of having this mental reset of like, let's not worry about any of those things. Let's just look towards the future of what we're doing next. And, I also made certain goals, other goals like, oh gosh, this beetle is like following me, and I'm like, I can hear the buzzing and it's so loud. It's quite scary. Okay, so I made other goals of like, trying to practice piano every day. Basically, I was very angry at myself, and I think that helped push me to do the Zero Entertainment Challenge again. And I did it for a good like close to 80 days straight. So I'm very happy with that result. And I did take a break, but I'm back on it now. And once I'm back in California, I know I gotta keep it. I know, oh gosh. I know I gotta like make sure that until I finish my audiobook, the first real product that I'm gonna create, I cannot watch anything. Like that's just how it's gonna be. And I've sort of changed like the benchmark for those types of things, because back then it was like, oh, try to reach it 3,000 on YouTube, but that just ain't happening. So it's like at least it's not gonna happen anytime soon. So I'm like, I need a goal that I know I can meet, that I have like all the power to meet, which is to finish something. And so that's why I changed it. And now I'm like thinking about all of these things again, and like everything from what I've said in the past and like how I feel now. That's sort of my mental reset, is just like, now that I'm back here, now that I'm about to leave Japan, I'm like, what is going on in my head? Like, what am I feeling? And it's just a lot. It's just a lot to process. But at the same time, I'm glad I had this sort of transitional phase where I'm back in Kyoto, like a place that I feel is almost like a second home, and I feel so comfortable in, and I feel at peace, and that I'm able to have all these thoughts while I'm here. So this is sort of my mental reset before going back to, well, actually I'm going to Korea first and then going back to California. And there's a lot of things to sort through. A lot of things. I feel like this video is just me kind of blabbing about everything in my mind and in my head, and also past goals and like whether or not I was able to accomplish certain ones. And most of it is like yes and no at the same time. They weren't defined clearly enough to be a perfect yes or no. For some of the goals, for like practicing piano every day, for instance, yes, I definitely failed that goal because I don't know, I just really dislike practicing on a flimsy keyboard. So I bought the wrong keyboard, and then if I bought the right keyboard, then it would have been like way too hard to move around. So there wasn't a great solution to that. If I were staying longer, then yeah, buying a solid keyboard would have made the most sense. But it just was too short to justify carrying around something so heavy. So that's where I'm at. I don't feel mad at myself because I do feel like, the goals I set, they at least push me to meet the goal partially. So just like having practiced piano at all, having created some piano music here, it wasn't nothing, and I'm glad about that. I'm glad that I could meet some of my goals. I think that's it for this one. I don't want to drone on for too long, and it's a bit too broad of a topic, so I ended up just talking about a whole lot of things. But it's really nice to sort of have this session to talk to the camera in a sense of like resetting myself mentally, just reflecting and processing and thinking about everything. That's sort of my mental reset, I suppose, which is, it doesn't really sound like a mental reset, actually. It sounds more like a reflection session, processing, and then being like, okay, now I know what to do. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that is my reset, I guess. Okay, that's enough for this one. I'm like droning on and on. Okay, catch you guys in the next one. Peace.